Hey, Warrior Saints, allow me to be a little dramatic. But something tragic has happened. I've been struggling with it over the last 2 weeks, and we need to talk about it. I went for my annual eye exam. I've had glasses since I was in fourth grade and contacts since I was in eighth grade. And they went through my normal eye exam, and my prescription has pretty much stayed the same. Every so often they tweak in like a little bit in each direction, and then the next time I go back, they tweak it back to the old one, and just has basically been the same for a whole lot of years. And then after doing that for the distance, they looked and they flipped the card down to do the close-up, and it happened. She said, read the bottom line. And I just started laughing, and I said, I really wish I could, but I can't. And then I got these.
Yay!
These are reading glasses. How do I look?
Lovely.
And I am at the age where we need to start doing things, apparently, like using these. She told me she'll give me a prescription for the progressive lenses or for the contacts where one does close and one does distance. And I said, slow down. We are not there yet. That's a bridge too far. But in the meantime, I get to use these when I want to read something. And we just run through it like that. But it gave me an image as we are on the precipice of Election Day that I want to share with you guys today. Because how we see the world and how we see things is so vitally important. We were talking about light all week last week, and light overcoming darkness, and being able to see in the darkness and being able to conquer the darkness by overcoming it with the light of Christ that comes into the world and all this beautiful stuff. If we buy into that, shouldn't that then pervade everything else that we're doing? Shouldn't that be the way that we approach everything else that we see in the world? And my argument would be yes, it should. Because if that's how we're really going to do things, then let's do it. Let's get out there and let's be like John Belushi in Animal House running out. Let's go! Let's go full bore. Right? Because it's this beautiful passage in Luke where Christ encounters a blind man. And the blind man is crying out to him and crying out to him. And Christ finally says to him in Luke chapter 18, verses 41 through 42, What do you want me to do for you? He said. Lord, let me receive my sight. And Jesus said to him, receive your sight. Your faith has made you well. Receive your sight. Your faith has made you well. This sight that this man has received is not just being able to see, but it's the sight of faith. It's putting on those glasses not so that he can read, but having sight so that he can see the world in a completely new way. In a completely new way that is through the lens of faith, which we know is a verb, which means that we have to take the actions to follow what God is teaching us to do. If we say we believe in God, get out there and do the business. Get out there and do that. Let that be what is your motivation. As we're going into Election Day tomorrow, we're in these camps. And if we're going to actually vote the way that is in line with our faith, then we need to be able to say to both political parties, I like something that you're doing, but I don't like everything. And I like something that you're doing, but I don't like everything. And I don't believe everything that you're telling me because you are not my code. My code is the gospel of Jesus Christ. Paul talks about this in Romans chapter 12, verse 2, which we use all the time. Do not be conformed to this world, but be renewed, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind so that you can prove what is good and perfect and the will of God. Get out there and don't let the world tell you how to live. You show the world what it means to live as a warrior saint by living the life that Christ has laid out for you. shown you, the path that he has given us and invited us to follow him along. The good news is we're not doing it alone. As Father talked about last Friday, we have that preparation and we have that community and we have that grouping together that works with us to help us get there. We're here to help you get there. It's what warriorsaints.org exists to do. But at some point, you have to make that decision. You have to decide, am I going to be conformed to the world, or am I going to be transformed by renewing my mind so that I can follow? And just like the blind man in Luke chapter 18 received his sight through his faith, through his actions, through his willingness to go and do the business, I too, as a warrior saint, am going to get out there and make it happen, Captain. We'll be back again tomorrow, and until we see you then, you keep walking on the way of the warrior saint.